Hello activity, my name is János Pallagi and I will be talking about mobile threats and mobile security for the next 20 minutes. This is me. I am a security researcher at White Hat IT Security, where I do incident response, malware analysis, digital forensics, and I like to take part in vulnerability research projects as well. I'm an instructor of White Hat Certified Defense Training, which is our enterprise defense training, and we are really proud of it. I also have a master's degree in mathematics and a Twitter account. Let's begin with a short disclaimer. During the talk, I will be using software and tools developed by Zimperium, but feel free to substitute your own favorite mobile threat protection software whenever you hear or see Zips or Zimperium mentioned, because the adversary tactics and techniques that are showcased here are applicable regardless of what defensive solutions you have. Also, while we are here, I would like to thank and give a huge shout out to Richard from Zimperium, who helped me create this demo and presentation. With that being said, let's jump right into our topic of this talk, mobile devices in corporate environments. Not too long ago, a typical corporate network was like a hard-boiled egg. The yolk being the internal secure network with a DMZ and the perimeter around it, and the internet being the wilderness it is. In those times, if we had a decent, overpriced network firewall, we were fine. But how about now? When company assets started to move to the cloud, first websites, accounting, ticketing, and then project management, file sharing, collaboration tools, virtual machines, and so on. And then the users. They are working from anywhere but the office. Mainly, they are working from home. Yep, I said working from home. Now you can check it in the conference bingo. You're welcome. So basically, no more assets, no more users in the internal network. Well, we can obviously force them to use our corporate VPN to make use of our overpriced firewall and have some visibility. But what we can do with mobile devices? Also, does our network now look like a soft-boiled egg? Well, nope. It looks like a scrambled egg, a very scrambled egg. But wait, we've heard this a couple of thousand times already. The bad news is this paradigm won't shift itself. And also saying identity management or zero trust policy in the mirror 3 times won't prevent adversaries from attacking your assets, employees, or users. But what we can do to protect assets that are accessed from mobile devices? If the device is company issued, mobile device management solutions can be deployed. But honestly, no one really likes having 2 phones at the same time, and giving smartphones to every employee is often not even feasible. So let's look at the case in the bottom right corner. This is the most dangerous and at the same time most common case. Personal devices with company access. Those are used for corporate emails, instant messaging, collaboration, banking, 2-factor authentication or authenticator apps, company social media accounts, and the list goes on. Of course, we could prohibit employees from accessing any company resource from their own smartphones, but let's face it, almost no one is willing to do that because productivity. I mean, we have whole fields and departments even like IT risk management, for example, because IT security, among other things, is sacrificed for productivity. Yes, but how does blockchain solve all these issues? It does not. Moving on. So really, what we can do? Because so far it is advantage to the attackers. But to understand how we can protect mobile endpoints, first we should know what the attackers could do. If only there were a collection that enumerates adversary tactics and techniques for mobile endpoints. But hey, there it is. So enter the matrix, namely enter Mitre's attack matrix from mobile. While there are lots of adversary techniques around, these are the ones I wish to showcase to you today in the demo. This demo scenario covers almost all steps in the mobile kill chain. Here are the techniques, but don't worry, they will be back during the demo. So this week in pre-recorded live demo, please keep in mind that this is a simulated attack. So the timeframes are not going to be realistic. And while there is endpoint protection on the vulnerable iPhone we are attacking, let's just assume there is not. This demo simulates a targeted attack where the initial access is through a rogue Wi-Fi access point and DNS spoofing. And it goes the whole way in the kill chain. We know and we can imagine most of the attacks today are not targeted and almost exclusively start with some kind of phishing and ultimately social engineering users into installing malicious apps. I also have to mention that no banking accounts were harmed during the shooting of this demo. So without further ado, let's see the speed run of 10 techniques in less than 10 minutes. This is why we are here after all. Let's hope the gods of pre-recorded live demos are with us today. So we have the vulnerable iPhone of Nick Cash, who is the CFO of the victim company called Acme Corporation. As we can see, the device is kind of okay, except the vulnerable iOS version. So let's fire up our rogue Wi-Fi access point. Let's give a nice name to our network, personalized to our target, of course. And as we have the stronger signal, the victim connects to our access point. And we have the first technique. Of course, Zips detects it instantly, but for the sake of this demo, let's ignore these alerts for now. So the access point gave an address to the phone, and let's just type in for our backdoor later on. And while the spoof domains are already set. If Nick visits a website, nothing happens unless it is one of our spoof domains. And we spoofed acme.com, which is Nick's own corporate domain. And now Nick browses to acme.com. And this lures our victim to install the contact tracing app they are developing. But this app also jailbreaks the phone, which involves persistence, elevation to root naturally. As you can see, there's persistence. Privilege escalation. Too bad they don't have protection installed. Otherwise, it would scream that the device is already compromised, as you can see. All the threat logs triggered by the exploit in the app. We also have a remote shell. We have the highest privileges already. So now we can do virtually everything we would want. But this is a hacker conference. I don't have to tell you this, right? Moving on to our compromised device, let's gather some data, like WhatsApp messages. This example shows that end-to-end encrypted channels have at least 2 weak points. They are the 2 ends, obviously. Now we know some personal stuff about Nick, as well as some trade secrets. And of course, if we check WhatsApp on the phone, we would see that these are in fact the messages we just stole. And while we are here, dumping some Wi-Fi passwords are easy now. Just like collecting the contact list, which we will use in a minute. Now, and this is really frightening, we see that Nick has a banking app on their phone. So let's send them a spoofed email and see whether Nick opens the banking app or not. Of course, we could just launch the app, but that would be rather suspicious, I guess. Checking if Nick saw the message. Yes, this is Robin Scammer from CBD Bank, so this must be legit and also urgent. We take a screenshot to see if Nick saw the message, and yeah, they saw the message, and now Nick opened the banking app. Of course, real mobile malware has this screen capture feature automated, of course, but we can see the app is open, so we can use our final technique, logging keystrokes. So we hook the app with the keylogger. Some of you probably have already seen keyloggers being used on desktop environments, but I hope seeing this on a smartphone live is more unique and interesting for you. Now we see that Nick meets the password complexity requirements, and also they have two-factor authentication enabled. But to beat two-factor authentication, we can kill the app at the right moment and wait for the message to arrive with the one-time password. Here it is. So we collect these as well. And of course, whenever we wish to log in with Nick's credentials, again, all we have to do is capture the screen or read the message with the one-time password. And sadly, the same goes for authenticator apps that use the 6-digit one-time password. So for this case, I recommend using the approve feature of authenticator apps. Here is the second one-time password. And finally, we choose Adam Smith from the contact list we just acquired and sent him an email. Notice that we are not just spoofing Nick, the CFO of this company, but we are Nick. When we send this message to Adam, no logs will be able to tell that this message was sent with malicious intent, as there are no access and security logs from this device. This message contains a link, and we are supposed to phish Adam's credit card data, by the way. I guess this counts as lateral movement, but we already have the 10 techniques in the bag. Meanwhile, here's Adam and his Android device. He got the message from his boss, and when he reads it more closely, when he reads it and taps the arbitrary phishing link we've just sent, his endpoint protection alerts instantly. Too bad Nick didn't have zips installed, I guess, because we would see the whole picture through the threat logs otherwise. Like this. So this was our pre-recorded live demo. And I don't have much time left, so here are my conclusions and takeaways for you. As we could see, zips stopped or could have stopped the attack at basically any step in the kill chain. Second of all, no visibility hurts the most. And most companies have no visibility regarding their employees' phones being used for accessing company resources. And to make things worse, here are some stats for you. So 50% of company resource accesses are from mobile devices already, and this will only raise from this point. Also, of all devices, 60% are mobile devices, namely smartphones. And among these smartphones, majority of these have operating systems after their end-of-life support. So they will be always vulnerable. Another conclusion, if MDM is out of the question, at least consider using some containerization solutions like Samsung Knox. And finally, endpoint protection is not really effective unless you have the logs and alerts collected and analyzed by trained and experienced security team. And I believe it's go time, because the next presentation will be about reversing malware written in Go. And with that, thank you all for watching and listening. If you have any questions, my Twitter DMs are open. You can find me on LinkedIn, and it's really not hard to figure out my company email address either. So have a nice conference, everyone.